Great Divide. August 2025. The Complete Global Prophecy. August 8. The Tremor begins. August 17. The veil thins. August 27. The curtain drops. 1 month, 3 ruptures, and nothing will be the same. Global clarity, nation by nation. In Russia, the bear stirs westward, wounded but not gone. Though weakened by war and sanctions, Russia remains active and dangerous. A new phase is unfolding, not with tanks, but through alliances, energy leverage, and covert strategies. Russia has not abandoned its ambitions toward the West. It is regrouping, and its next move will be unexpected. In China, the mask slips. A silence breaks. A reckoning begins. The illusion of control begins to slip. Whispers turn to warnings as tension over Taiwan intensifies. But this is more than geopolitics. It's the moment when fear can no longer be hidden and silence no longer obeyed. Internally, unrest brews. Externally, the world watches, and the reckoning begins. Not only with what China might do, but with what it can no longer contain. In Europe, threads unravel. France burns, Germany stalls, the euro gasps. The fabric of Europe begins to fray. In France, civil unrest ignites, protests, riots, a nation on edge. In Germany, economic engines slow, hesitation, stagnation, leadership in limbo. And the euro? It struggles to breathe, caught between failing policies and fractured unity. This is not just recession, it is unraveling. Socially, economically, spiritually. In Turkey, old alliances shatter. The gate swings wide, unguarded. Turkey breaks from the old order. Its alliances with the West fracture. NATO ties strain, and new allegiances stir. But this is more than diplomacy. It becomes a corridor for refugees, rogue actors, underground networks, and anti-Western powers. Radical ideologies move freely. Weapons, whispers, and influence flood through unguarded borders. And what enters, people, power, and spirits, will not leave unchanged. They settle. They embed. They rewrite the terms. In North Korea, a spark is thrown, but the fire is fake. A distraction. A sudden provocation. A missile test. A threat of war. But it's not real. Not this time. It's theater. A calculated act to steal attention. While eyes are fixed on the spark in East Asia, the real ignition happens elsewhere. North Korea becomes a pawn, not a player. Its fire is staged to manipulate timing, headlines, and markets. A distraction designed by others, deployed for effect. In Israel, the threshold shakes. A whisper becomes a roar. Economic rupture, metals and markets. Silver spikes, not just in price, in meaning. Silver becomes a signal, not just a commodity, but a symbolic rupture. Its rise marks more than demand. It reveals a fracture in the illusion of stability. It pierces the illusion, marks the breach. The global system was built on belief, not substance. Silver slices through the veil. It is the first visible wound, a breach not just in markets, but in trust. And the BRICS speak, not with missiles, but with contracts, gold-backed, final, a A new empire rises, not with warheads, but with ink. BRICS severs its link to the dollar. They don't protest, they transact. A gold-backed alternative is born, not provisional, final. Energy and currency shift. The barrel tips. Oil no longer flows for all. Energy becomes leverage. Oil is withheld. Access becomes conditional. Supply is no longer global. It is selective, strategic, weaponized. What was traded as currency becomes territory. Money loses power. Nations begin to claim resources directly, not through payment, but possession. A land for energy economy emerges. Fiat fades. Territory becomes tender. And the coins? They fall, then rise. Like fire through cracks, currencies collapse. But from the fractures, something new ignites. Perhaps digital, perhaps gold, perhaps divine. But it comes not from institutions. It rises from the fault lines, like fire. Some say it's manipulation. But no, this is judgment. They will blame markets. They will blame politics. But this is not manipulation. This is a reckoning, a divine correction of systems built on greed and illusion. Migration, collapse, sirens in the distance, borders shatter. From the Middle East to Europe, from Central America to the US, across oceans, across ice, across fire. They run, not for dreams, but from disaster. Not with plans, with children in their arms. Not toward safety, but away from smoke. Governments freeze, paralyzed by policy, pride, or fear. But the streets ignite with anger, hunger, and ash. There is no safety net, no protocol for this kind of flood, no strategy for a world breaking from beneath. False peace, manufactured hope, and in the noise, he steps forward. Not a stranger, a familiar face, polished again, refined, recast, ready. He speaks with perfect timing. Peace, order, healing. And the world exhales. War fades. Markets rise. The people applaud. But it is not peace. It is a script. A program the world was conditioned to receive. He does not come alone. He brings a system. Flawless, predictive, obedient, until it isn't. First, a flicker. Then, confusion. Then, silence. What was built to guide, to manage, to rule, no longer obeys. He is not a savior. He is a signal. And behind his calm, something unravels. Nature as divine messenger. The earth answers. Rivers twist. Storms scream. Deserts rise. This is not climate. It is command. Religious unveiling. The sacred breached. A veil tears in Rome. What spills out cannot be blessed. Secrets surface. The sacred no longer hides. Final descent. August 8, 1727. 3 ruptures, no return. Not collapse. Correction. Not the end. A decision. What rises will not fade. It rewrites the map. Not revolution, reversal. be ready. The September prophecy is revealed. August 31st, Selah.